A huge shout out to the Overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the Overthinkers, shout out my friend too.
This is Parker, yeah. Thank you, Overthinkers.
Keep inspiring next generation.
Shout out to the Overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, man, ngephume biyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazi I think siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one.
Welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena, and this is the place where we can speak football amongst ourselves. I just want to make sure, for those who are listening, can you hear me properly? Is there anything that went wrong there? I just want to make sure. KG, welcome. Guys, this is a place where we can speak football amongst ourselves as fans. Everywhere we go, we speak about, we hear from analysts, we hear from previous coaches and things like that. I want us to speak about our things, and that is why this show exists, so that I can hear from you. It's a very interactive show, so if you're here for the first time, just know that one of the big things that we do here is that I have panels. So I'm going to open that up at some point. You can jump in and tell me what you think about whatever it is we're speaking about, and we can have a conversation where I get to hear from you guys as well. So anyway, guys, let's get straight into it. Look, I know I also come from there, guys. I also come from there. I was watching Coach Rulani's interview with Prarop, obviously one of the best ever to do it. But I wanted us to speak a little bit more. Yesterday we were focused on Rulani. We were focused on what might have happened, what could have happened, what was going on in the back. But now that we've gotten the confirmation that he is gone, the question then becomes, where does the club go from here? And I want to read the statement that was taken out by Mamelodi Sundowns to confirm Rulani leaving. Then I want to use that as the jumping point for the conversation we're going to have about the future of Sundowns. Where do you go from here? Because Mamelodi Sundowns is one of those clubs that haven't had these type of things happen to the degree. They haven't had the drama. They haven't had all these things, maybe behind the scenes, but certainly not outside with us. It's probably the first time in, 10 years that Mamelodi Sundowns, 10, 12 years that Mamelodi Sundowns doesn't know who the next coach is going to be, or goes into a preseason right before it starts and has to change coaches. They've got Fleming, for example. How does he take this club forward? What type of changes do they make? So I want to have these conversations with you to see how you guys feel about these things. Then we can go from there. Khalifang, welcome. Malumo Kutso, hi, Siana, man. So let me read the statement, then we'll go from there. Mamelodi Sundowns and Rulani Mokwena agreed to part ways. Mamelodi Sundowns and Rulani Mokwena amicably concluded an agreement bringing to an end Rulani Mokwena's employment as head coach. Sundowns wishes to express its gratitude to Rulani Mokwena for his contribution to the successes and the achievements of the club during his tenure as head coach. Rulani Mokwena will forever be part of the Mamelodi Sundowns family, and the club wishes him all of the very best with his future endeavors. The decision of Mamelodi Sundowns was taken by the board, taking into account the objectives and the expectations of the club, and was not influenced or based on the recommendations of any individual associated with the club. Sundowns is deeply committed to the development and growth of South African coaches and players. Coach Manqoba Mngqithi and their technical team will continue to lead and take control of the training and preparation of the players for the upcoming season. Mamelodi Sundowns is preparing and focusing on competing in all upcoming competitions and is honored to be one of the 4 football clubs representing the African continent in the historic FIFA Club World Cup 2025. So that is the statement that was released by the club, basically confirming. Now, Coach Rulani went on to Prarop's show, and it seems like there are things that he can't discuss. It seems like there's other things that have happened outside of a performance-based appraisal of what he did, right? But now I want to hear from you guys, because there's a couple of interesting things here. One, you know that Mamelodi Sundowns is going into a Club World Cup next year. We know that Mamelodi Sundowns has $1 billion that they're going to get for participating in that tournament. The coach that comes in, what type of pressure will that person be under? What type of pressure, what type of expectations will they have? Will it be a Champions League or bust situation like what was happening with Rulani, or what is said to have happened with Coach Rulani? What is the future of Mamelodi Sundowns and the person who's going to come in? How are they going to handle those things? There's also questions around the players. Will the players play for this person? Or does that exist at Mamelodi Sundowns at all? That maybe they have ties to Rulani, maybe some of them feel away. Will the person be able to win a dressing room right now coming in so late? Coach Mangoba, is he the one for the future? What type of coach do you want? Is the time to start looking outside the borders? In the statement, they say here that they're committed to developing South African coaches and players. So are they going to carry on looking into South Africa? Are there coaches that can take on this team from inside South Africa? Do you look at foreign coaches? Do you even look for a white coach? As the silent question. These are the things that I want to hear from you guys today, and we're going to have a conversation about it. Please feel free to jump in when I open up to join the panel so that we can have a discussion. I think what's very interesting about this, again, is that Mamelodi Sundowns doesn't normally find itself here. Some of these questions that we're asking are things that are stuff we've seen with other teams. We've seen other PSL teams struggle with coaching changes. We've seen them change coaches late in the game. We've seen the troubles that come with that. We've seen what happens when a coach walks in and there's a sitting TD, right, in that relationship, and how those things are going to work. This is what I want to hear from you. So at the bottom of your screen, there's a button that says multi-guest. It's got a blue figure hugging a pink figure. Click on that button, request, I let you in. If you're watching on YouTube, just know that if you want to join and add your voice to the show live, you have to join me on TikTok, and we can have a conversation. Guys, let me open up. I see we've got people ready to jump in. Please feel free to, guys, also feel free to follow, and every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. Otherwise, we have one football. Currently, it's the Euros, so we're on Friday covering the Euros. So on Friday. Let's see. Sinjay, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you? Not on the banner today.
Halala, halala, halala.
Why are you halalari? What's going on?
I'm not gonna be long, my man. I'm not gonna be long. I don't deal with pointless and useless clubs. But anyway, I think we said this last season.
Yeah.
I think we said this towards the last season that Sundowns will have to make a decision on Rulani. You cannot have an entity that is spending over 150 million rands a year on player salaries and staff and technical team, just close to 4 million a year, a month, and all you come up with is a league.
But CJ, we had this conversation yesterday about Rulani. I want to have a conversation about Sundowns now. Rulani is gone.
Okay.
How do they move
Sundowns
forward?
Sundowns have made it. That's what I'm trying. So now I think it's going to be very, very, very tricky for them because of the timing of the decision. One, it does issue some sort of instability, a bit of a glimpse that there's going to be instability in the team.
Okay.
Who I hope, my prayer is that they may give Umangoba some time to surf the wave until the waves come down. And then make a projection in terms of where they want to take the club forward. I don't think right now it will be a very strategic move to appoint someone now. I don't know. I think I'm losing connection here. Maybe it's my network.
Yeah,
Let me go down. I knew it, man. Talk about Sundowns is going to.
I think there's something, guys. There in the comments. There in the comments, can you guys hear, is the stream jumping? Is the live jumping? Because I just know, because it feels like there's a little bit of a cut. So please, guys, let me know in the comments if you can hear me at the very least, and we can go from there. Let me go to Rocky. Rocky, welcome to the show. How are you? Hey, guys. There are cuts. Let me go to ASAP. ASAP Chamber, can you hear me?
Mr. Otsi.
I'm good. Apologies, guys, for whatever is happening. Tell me, ASAP Chamber, welcome. Firstly, we had the conversation about Rulani yesterday. I want to have the conversation about Sundowns today.
Sir.
I'm going to ask you a general question. What do you think? Where do you think Sundowns goes from here? Then I'll ask you guys pointed questions.
Please excuse any noise in the background. Sabonda mapapa na yabo.
No spoilers.
Regarding the Sundowns and Mfowethu, I think Sundowns is going to be okay. Sundowns is an institution with its roots firmly set into the ground. So yes, Rulani played a pivotal and an important role to get us where we are now. But I think that the foundation is strong enough for what season doesn't crumble. And timing is unfortunate. And I hope the players don't necessarily get too emotional about this, because at the end of the day, they are professionals and they're getting paid to do sponsor. But I personally would still love to see a local coach, or let me rather say a black coach at Sundowns. Sundowns. I don't want to lie. And that's just a biasness that I have personally. I'd still love for Sundowns to be an all-in-all, outright South African representing club. So I don't want to see any Ngamlas doing their things there. But I think Sundowns is going to be okay. I really think Sundowns is going to be okay. This is not the end. This is not like the declining of the peak. So sharp. We have established foundational rights for which is into the web is. It's just a matter of adjusting. If you want to be the number one team in Africa, you need to be like water.
So then tell me, ASAP Shebe, what we're speaking now about a foundation that Sundowns has laid. There's a foundation that they've laid for the past 12 years. The coaches have come from internal, things have happened internally. How much of an impact will bringing in a coach from outside have if they do go that route? How much impact, how much pressure will that person be under when they walk in? Because it's not just that it's a big year, it's also that it's now maybe the end of the ingrown coaches, the homegrown coaches.
If I'm not mistaken, I heard interview Rulani and Robert. I think Robert did mention something about saying Sundowns wanting to maintain, or if it's you, Manj, if I'm not mistaken, that they want to still produce locally made coaches. So it would be a bit of a surprise if this is the end of that. But whoever's coming into Sundowns Manj must know that it's a hot seat because we want to be the best in Africa. So if Rulani couldn't survive, even though he was breaking records, you must understand that now in Pitso Mosimane, if we leave. This is the number one team, or an aspiring number one team in Africa. And we need people who have those types of ambitions. We can't have mid coaches. Ambition, you know. Yeah.
Let me bring it on Tabelek. And Tabelek, is it too much at one time? And I mean it from the sense that Rulani leaves. You've got a very big season up ahead. You've got the Club World Cups coming in. There is now an expectation, or it seems that there's an expectation for the CAF Champions League. It seems that the system is changing at Mamelodi Sundowns in terms of how they find their coaches if they don't stick with Mangoba. Isn't it, man, too much change at once? Welcome.
I think it's too much of a change. considering that they have this season, they have the World Cup. I mean, if it's not Mangoba, who? And if you're gonna say you're gonna give a coach locally a chance, I don't see any coach now except Liam. Yeah, the former coach as Cocoon.
Okay.
Either him or they're going outside the country. And when they go outside the country, they're gonna go for a white guy. And that's my problem also. As much as my coach is white, I have a problem with that. Rulani was going uphill. And how do you set standards now? With a coach that just lost one game whole season. PSA. And then after that, you're saying to fans that he did, and I don't wanna lie. I don't think it has anything to do with CAF and all that. It's just an ego thing behind the thing. I mean, when they gave him the 4-year contract, they knew what this guy needs time. And it's obvious when they give you a contract, there's that thing of saying your target is this, and by this time you have to have won CAF. You can't tell me to give you a 4-year contract, the guy around Majen, and then they tell you that you have to win CAF the same season. No ways. No ways.
So then with the new coach, if the new coach comes in, are they expected to win CAF, win the league? Are they expected to do well at the Club World Cup? Are they expected to get the dressing room in order, get the players behind them, learn the Sundowns way, play the Sundowns way? Is the new guy going to be expected to do all of this in one season? Will it be the same standard?
And that's what makes me laugh, because of you had a structural read. Even though the coach had an ego and he had a problem, whatever you can say, but you had a structure of how we want to play, the players we need for next season. So if you're gonna get a new coach, and I doubt it has to be Mangoba because of the new coach can't implement his ideas from the word go.
Okay.
So now my thing is that they can't, and no ways, expect themselves to be a top 5 team if it hasn't become a heritage to them. I mean, we have been always speaking about football heritage, right? I mean, no, this guy is gonna come. What's gonna happen? Are they gonna continue being the same team, the same football, brilliant football, or tum tum? So those are the things now I tend to say it was unfair, and it literally shows. There was this guy towards the end of this show, Rob's show. He said things that are very, very important about what's going on with Sundowns. And Lena, I would say, coach of the season, considered but one of the best coaches in Africa. You sack him and you say he didn't. Well, you just gave him the same contract, the same season. No way.
Okay. Let me bring in Kumo. Kumo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Negele sharp after listening to the interview.
No, Lishap, I know what was said in the group.
Yeah? Sorry, what's that?
No, I'm saying I remember I saw what you said in the group, but that's another situation. Kumo, I want to ask you, do you trust Mangoba to take this team to a World Cup into the season? And if not, if you don't trust Mangoba, does the new guy get held to the same standards as what Rulani was held to?
We see, this is what happens when friends from mediocre teams comment on Sundowns. Not dstv, I have Nedbank Cup. I have the record points in dstv. We win Nerefediti. On Kalohan. Ambition na rena ku wina CAF. Lere ke wina ha one lere ke big do what. Wina hape. Are content ka star na ladies and gentlemen. We've won a Champions League. The thing is like, if we're being honest, we love Rulani. I'm switching gears. I'm very motivated, you guys know. Rulani couldn't do no wrong.
Yeah.
Right, have a last 55 million, yeah, EFL. Right, have a lali record points, what. But the truth of the matter is, we were not happy on how we were winning at Sundowns because we hardly blew teams away as we used to in the past. Now things rumors more where I think we could have had that guy from Portugal. Now he chose him over Lodge. Another 6 months where we could have got him for free. I know but the other thing, back to Sundowns situation, we've been through this for a long time. When Motsepe came, money won't buy you success. Now we got success. When Pitso came, but Pitso is arrogant, we won't get success. We got success. When people left, the 3 musketeers. This is an abnormality. Why do you have 3 coaches at the same time? We are one Kaloanya. So whatever we do as Sundowns, people are always gonna have something to say, always gonna criticize. Moreover, level at their team, doesn't make sense. So of something that female so when you're like a Sundowns, as if like you doing anything better. But local level, recent example, there was a national coach, CAF Mamukuwile, and that team coach Mpia win AFCON. So the rumors that we might if get this guy by Patrice, I'm not gonna try to butcher his name. Whatever. From side experience, he's won goal Ahly the league with Zamalek. So this guy and according to what's happening, his rumored salary package is about 80 million rands per annum. So this is a guy, if I'm going to say, definitely he has to win us the Champions League in 2 months. That's how important
but then Kumo, you also have to then take into account that this is the first time where Mamelodi Sundowns doesn't have somebody in the tuck who's ready to take over. Mangoba came from Pitso, Rulani came from Pitso, Rulani came from the Mangoba and Pitso relationship. If it's not to Mangoba and it's somebody else, that person has to now come in right before preseason, learn everything, coach, get better, do all of that stuff, get the players on side and all of that. And is there still then an expectation in this situation that Levata star, owing to the fact that you're also going to the Club World Cup? Is this man just too big of a season to expect those things from somebody who would only be walking into the club, let's say, at the very best next week?
Well, there's the assumption that Mangoba won't be taking over. For now, the interim, I get Mara, for all we know, he will be our next incumbent. But this guy, that's not a problem. I mean, sometimes we've got the best, arguably the best stars in our country. We've got one of the best facilities to get a late. When you travel, you charter planes, you fly in private, business class, so you've got every resources at your disposal. When you want to go and buy a player at a hand, you get whoever you want. So why can't we be like Ahly? Why can't we be like Real Madrid and expect only the best? So when as a coach, you know what situation you're entering into when you come to Sundowns. You won't be short of anything. And the only thing we're about because we know it's possible to win the Champions League. Because on paper, we got the best one. Kalohan, we always outplay these people in Africa. AFL, we know how to knock out football. I guess that's where we always fail. So, I guess ambition is sharp, and if you want to do something, so you have to win and convincingly all the time. No time for lack of ambition. Let's give you time. No, you have to sink or swim, and you have to swim all the time.
For time, I'm just gonna jump in and bring in Untozak. Untozak, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, my brother. It's been a long time.
As long as we and umsebenzi akusizi into ezinye, it's fine. Ntozak, here we go. They've made the changes. Rulani is gone. Where does Sundowns go here? Will the new guy be expected to make miracles happen? Is the new guy going to come in? Should Manqoba take over? What are your thoughts?
For Sundowns has always been a good example since from 2012, if I'm not mistaken, when they had to Pitso and all the technical stuff, and until today, it's been continuity and sustainability. I don't know Ian Manjele wrong about Zayo because this is completely wrong. And let me tell you now, but this is the downfall of the Sundowns. They're going back to what they did prior to 2012. Because if you don't have continuity and sustainability, you won't get the desired result, especially with continent. Because here you're dealing with human beings that need to create an atmosphere of togetherness, and they move with one idea and in one principle. Now, if you're going to chop and change, just because you've got one guy who's untouchable, then to look at the project as a whole and decide because the project is failing or not, then you're going to have a problem, because the decision they took was not based on the result, was not based on the type of football that Sundowns plays. The last speaker now just said we could see that Sundowns can beat everyone on the continent. And each and every team that Sundowns was playing against, they were scared of Sundowns. You can look at even when Experience knocked them out, you could see that they were much scared. The type of football that Experience played, it was not effective. They dominated them even on their account, which shows which Sundowns was much superior. They were just lacking experience there and there in players and also with coaching department. And how do you acquire experience? You acquire experience by being given more time to implement the ideas, to grow with your players and have much needed experience. Look at Manchester City. How long did it take them to win the Champions League? Many years. And then did they manage to defend the Champions League? They couldn't. They lost the Nedbank Cup. Not the Nedbank Cup, the FA Cup. They lost the Champions. They only won the league, which is similar to what Sundowns achieved. But did they go and chop Pep Guardiola's head? No, because they believe that given time and given another chance, this guy can go back and get the result. And this is wrong. You're looking at now the South African football, PSL as a whole. Chiefs has a foreign coach. Parade has a foreign coach and technical team. Sundowns, the same thing now. What about Bafana, the biggest team in the continent? How are we going to benefit as a country if we don't have an identity, a South African identity? Because right now you've got 3 teams being coached by 3 different coaches who are coming from 3 different countries, playing different type of football. And what about South African culture? We are only left with Eric and Gavin, the proper coaches. If we don't trust our coaches, who's going to give our coaches a chance? If we don't trust our own coaches. So this is a downfall of Sundowns. And let me tell you, they're not going to win the Champions League. They're not going to be able to defend all the titles. They can win the league.
So then, Tozaki,
it's fine. They can win it if Paris does not have their game in Kaizer Chiefs. But to other clubs, never.
So then can I ask, to be fair to Mamelodi Sundowns, if you look at a Man City, they had to make a hard-line decision at some point. When Pep was brought in, if I'm not mistaken, Mancini had won. I'm forgetting the other coach he'd won, but they understood that they needed to take the next step. And is that not maybe Mamelodi Sundowns saying that, you know what, guys, we did the homegrown thing. We went as far as we could with the legacy of Pitso. Now we need to cut maybe and bring in something new that might take us forward. Could that not be a situation here to say Fleming's coming in, new coach coming in, Klopi is relatively new as the chairperson. We're moving in a different direction, and maybe that direction will take us into the realms of Bo Al Ali because they chop and change and they win every year. Isn't it maybe that situation?
Mara, history is the best student. I mean, history is the best teacher, sorry. Because if you look at South African football, how long did it take a team to win a continent trophy? Even the national team, how long does it take us to win a continent trophy? It can be AFCON whatsoever, Champions League, Confed Cup and whatsoever. It takes many years. Not every country is Egypt. And what I'm saying is that this decision was not based on the result and the winning Champions League and stuff, because we could see that Sundowns are the dominant factor in African football. They are winning. This was just the clash of egos to say, Rulani was saying, this is the type of football I'm evolving to, because one thing I loved about Rulani is that he's an evolving coach. So he was going to evolve and implement new ideas because he's still young. He's the student of the game. He's someone who wants to develop. He learns football each and every day. So he was still going to implement new ideas. And then you've got one guy who has been tested, maybe Flemings, and then he believes in one type of football, that these are the type of players that he must have. Because if you look at the example, what is there on the media, they say he wanted to sign Kodisang and Rulani wanted to sign Muchecha, and you could see these are different type of players. So one is saying, let's go this route. The other one is saying, let's go this route. But who do I trust? Do I trust the one, the upcoming, developing, and the student of the game, or do I trust the guy that has been tested from a foreign country? I trust the Rulani. If the technical director does not have the same projection as the coach that I can see, he has a vision, he has a future, then let me get rid of a technical director and bring in someone, a new technical director that see eye to eye with the coach. Similar to Man City, if they can say the technical director has a problem with Guardiola, they won't get rid of Guardiola because he's an evolving coach. He's a student of the game. They will get rid of that technical director so that they have someone who's going to work in the same way that Pep sees football. So I don't see Sundowns changing here. I see the downfall. They will just win the league, but Champions League, if you're getting rid of this coach who has a very good relationship with all the players, I'm out of words.
Let me go to Rocky. Rocky, isn't this growth? Isn't this growth to say that, you know what, guys? Like I used the example of Man City. They had won the league with Pellegrini. Thank you, Malume Kutso. They had won the league with Mancini. Maybe at some point they decided that we're going to deliver that and we're going to bring in Pep. They brought in a new technical director. They changed some of their culture. Liverpool was pretty much the same way. Is it just are we confusing our love for Coach Rulani are we saying that our love for Coach Rulani is stopping the club from being able to grow and move in other directions? Is that what's happening here?
Thank you, Oti. Yeah, yes, I think our love for Rulani is disturbing the progress of the club, because I think the decision from Sundowns, we may say it's not based on performance. Maybe there's something that was happening behind the scenes. So when I look at their statement, actually, they said they want to continue growing local coaches and players, something like that. So I think they are not going to bring in a foreign coach.
Okay.
I think maybe they want to continue with Mangoba, and then they look for an assistant who's got experience like Dens Malisela, so that they continue where they started with Pitso. That's what happened most with Pitso. Pitso brought in Mangoba, brought in Rulani. When he left, Rulani and Mangoba took over, and I think it's the continuation that is gonna happening.
Okay, Rocky. Let me bring in ASAP Shambe. ASAP Shambe, is this not just growth that we're seeing a club making a decision? It might not be popular. Many other clubs have gotten rid of winning coaches in order to take the next level. Are we just? Is it just us seeing step one of that process and we're bugging out about it?
Yeah, I think national response to this decision, and that probably shows how much Rulani meant to Sundowns and the fans.
Okay.
But I definitely believe we would see you need to make tough decisions as an organization in order to move forward. Rulani is probably one of the most inspirational coaches we've seen come out of South Africa, right? So I understand the response. 37-year-old man, 37-year young, by the way, has achieved so much at such a young age. So I understand the response. I'm out, man. But I do believe that there's no one man that should be considered a messiah. If an organization cannot succeed because one person has left, then that's dangerous. Because things move forward, relationships end, and life happens. So if because Rulani has left Sundowns, it means Sekpeliling and Sundowns, then Sundowns would have to ask itself serious questions.
Okay.
Because no one's bigger than the team, so I do believe we would see this is the next step in Mamelodi Sundowns progressing and moving forward and making steps towards the goals that they have set. I don't agree with the idea that Fleming should leave and Rulani should stay, because if you're a technical or a sports director, there's overarching goals that you have set in line with the team, you know, and the coach plays parts in that overarching attempt to achieve those goals. So you can't say because Rulani plays a certain brand of football, he must stay and Fleming must go. Like, Fleming is a person, the role like Fleming is a role that makes long-term plans. And then you get a coach who implements plans. So Rulani coach is probably one of the best coaches we've seen in a very long time, but he's not a messiah.
So then, how do I?
So I don't think we should allow our. Yeah, I'm listening, brother.
No. I wanted to ask you that. Is this not a clash of different methodologies, if I can put it like that? So Rulani comes from a school within Sundowns that was going a certain way, and that was the prevailing culture. Fleming is new to this. Isn't that something you also have to look at and say that, okay, Fleming, you're 2 years into this culture that has been around since Pitso was here, or the structures that Pitso has built. Can you trust Fleming and his direction for the club? Or whoever, Fleming and whoever's changing directions here?
Yeah, but that question is also very... I wish I could find a better way of articulating it information instead of saying redundant. Because at the end of the day, Fleming has definitely been able to convince Uklopi. And that's the decision, and that's the man that makes the final decisions. Right? So we can cry and cry, but at the end of the day, we don't make the big decisions at that team. And we also don't know the daily in and out of what's happening with that team, you know. So I also don't think this is like a beef, man. Like, I don't think this is like a squabble. I just think we have to go to the next phase of this team. Rulani will go and he will learn and he will grow and he will come back and be an even more incredible asset for South African football.
Okay. Guys, for time, I'm going to carry on so I can move on to the next panel. Let me go to Kumo. Kumo, Same question to you. Okay, let me ask you a different one. What type of coach do you want to bring in? And what type of mandate will they have? And what type of control will they have when they come in? Do you think that now that Mamelodi Sundowns is moving away from, you know, a more coach-led transfers, coach-led decisions, coach-led all of that stuff, what type of control will the new coach have in terms of signings and things like that? And what type of coach are you looking for?
I want to have control and whatnot. Those are for small teams. Team coaches called Ahly don't have control. The SD does. Same goes for Liverpool. Same goes for Real Madrid. Understand Hore, because the coach is always the one that is the face of the team's failure.
Yeah.
But if we're being honest, that's how most of these professional teams are ran, right? Honestly, man, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. I hear a lot of people crying about Rulani being a young black man, African man, local coach. Guys, Sundowns as a PE partner, I get the point. We just want to win on. If you want to employ a black man, open your own club and hire him. Plus, Google plus on your assistant coach go pirate. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. I mean, like, Sundowns is a very ambitious club. The structure was laid there by Pitso. Rulani took us to the next level domestically. Fine, which we are grateful for. Mara, if you want, sorry.
Oh, Nazo.
Mara, if you want to, win CAF, Sanse change our tactics because we've been trying. So we're gonna be okay. There's no need to panic. Just fell out. We had people who loved Rulani, including myself. Mara after ke bona tlo tsa dirile mo interview mo Instagram. A ke sa le daga yena. Plus le copy ha mo follow on Instagram, fun fact.
No, come on, for time's sake, let me go to Untozake. Untozake, should Fleming, or should the new administration sweep clean in order to get this done? Should they come in and Abu Mangoba and everybody in order to implement the new vision that they have? Is there going to come a time where they need to, you know, get rid of the remnants of the old structure?
Yeah, I think this is the correct time because truth be told, Mangoba is not on the mind of Flemings and technical team Sundowns, because already Timota last season to show they had no faith in him. He's good as an assistant, but not to lead the ship. So now the continuity that we saw, we started from 2012, I think now say reach dead end. And once you reach dead end, it means something new must come in, as you were saying. We structure, I mean, you make an example, Pellegrini with Guardiola, meaning sometimes they need to start again. When you start again, everything must change. And it's changed even on player recruitment. Because my worry now is that at least Rulani was there and he was able to work with some of Pitso's players while bringing in his own players. And then it was a smooth transition from the old cabal to a new cabal of players. Now, my worry is that if you bring in a new guy, how many players is he going to say, this one does not fit on my style? I need that player who's going to fit on my style so that you can judge me based on my result. I need this new player. This one also, I'm not happy with him because he was too static on that one, Rulani. So on my style of play, I'm changing. So it's going to take time for a smooth transition to okay. And you will need a new technical team that is going to be aligned to the direction of a technical director and a new coach. As much as the technical director a voice there and there, but a coach has a system, and that system requires certain players. Are we sure that the players that Sundowns has are going to be able to just grab everything the new coach is going to implement and move on and deliver the trophies? It takes time. Ask Pitso, it takes time. Ask Rulani, it takes time. Ask Coach Patrice Motsepe, it takes time. Ask Man City management, they will tell you it takes time to win a Champions League. You can ask any coach in the world, even in Barcelona now, to take them time to win Champions League. We Real Madrid, it's easier because it's continued. It's continued because this type of teams, they've got the presidents, they've got the directors and stuff. But in South Africa, we don't have a president controlling there. I just hope Fleming doesn't become stand of parade. Because once it becomes that, Sundowns is on a downfall. You know what Stan Chavala did to parade? I just hope Fleming won't do the same thing.
Okay. And Tozake, thank you so much. Guys, I think what I want us to realize about this situation in the next panel, I think it's a unique situation. And it's unique in the sense that Mamelodi Sundowns, for all intents and purposes, has been running a certain way since Pitso. Pitso created a structure and they've been feeding off of that foundation for a very long time. So even in the situation where it's Coach Rulani versus whoever, or if we see it like that, or if it's a clash of methodologies, you forget that our Coach Rulani have been at that club, I think he said 12 years. So the way they were running pre the change, right? They have the relationships with the chairpersons. They have all that stuff. They had a way of doing things. I think Pitso, I think Mangoba, I think a lot of them had a lot of power within that club. But now when you bring in Abu Fleming, and I think Kopi's trying to change a lot of things, I believe. I don't know, but I believe from the outside looking in, that Kopi's trying to change a lot of things and modernize, quote unquote, the club. The clash is not a clash of, normal TD versus normal coach. It's 12 years of me being here versus the TD, 12 years of a system versus this guy. So I think the question that I'm asking for me is that how much of an impact will this place right now where they are, right? I'm hearing from you guys, and I don't know, maybe Sundowns sees it differently internally, but I'm hearing from a lot of you that you don't trust Mangoba, or you don't see Mangoba as being the head coach, right? So in a world where Mamelodi Sundowns used to know exactly who was coming next, that person has been sitting on the bench for 5-6 years. That's gone now, right? So what type of impact will that have, especially knowing that this season you're going to play more games than you've ever played? This season, funny enough, the coach is not going to have enough time to take over. And it's not to say that the coach will fail and get rid of him. What type of concessions will you give and say, as the new coach, hi, ufike late, there's all this stuff happening in the back, there's players being signed, there's all these things happening. You know what, my guy, we're going to give you off for this year. Can you give off for this year, knowing that it's Club World Cup and all of those things? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But let me let in the next panel, and then we can continue the conversation. So let me see who was here. Okay, so guys, apologies today. Guys, am I jumping today? Is the network bad? Apologies for that. Guys, remember that you have to be following me, or else you can't get on. So you have to be following me, and then you can jump onto the panel. I see that it's making people wait. While I do that, let me go to Uchabu. Yes, Chava, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. Java, tell me, what do you think of this situation? And the coach is going to arrive now. What must the expectation be for that coach?
As the fellow brothers said before, the job for the technical team for Sundowns is difficult to select a correct candidate to replace Rulani. Rulani has established himself, and the next coach has to take from where he left. Sundowns has to go far to get the best candidate for the job, and they have a big season
get the best for the job.
They have to be prepared,
and they have
Where is that echo coming from? I'm trying to figure out. Yo, guys, sorry about that. Okay, Lebza, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm calling to the FM.
Oh,
Give
okay,
my radio, please.
Lebza, can you hear me? Welcome.
Sure, OT.
Lebza, what do you think about this situation? Coach Okenang, what type of pressure is there under? Will he be asked to do the same thing? Because I'm hearing people saying that coach must win a Champions League or coach must be expected to win a Champions League. But you're following a guy who was there for 12 years, and there's a lot of things happening in the back. How do you feel about the situation?
Well, now, OT, Sundowns is a good club. The very same way Ahly is doing it, the very same way Real Madrid is doing it. That's how it's supposed to be. If you are brought in to win CAF Chiefs. I get outside you've assessed the team, you see whether they have the qualities and the capabilities of winning the trophy that Mamelodi Sundowns wants. So deliver. Deliver. Mamelodi Sundowns in terms of players. Where are they lacking? You understand? So we are expecting the coach that's coming in to deliver. He's not coming here to build. What is he going to build? That's the very same thing along with the coach. You understand? He said give me 4 more years to win the game. Why 4 years? You understand? They must deliver. It's not reality. It's not reality, guys. It's like that. They should just deliver.
So then, Tebza, I hear you, but you know when you're the first guy in after after a club has been moving a certain way for a very long time. If you are Unai Emery who's stepping in, can I hold you to the same level that I held the previous guy? Or can I ask you to make these miracles happen, knowing that you're not just the first, you're not just a new coach, you're the first guy maybe representing a whole new system?
OT, that's a very difficult question. You look at the Real Madrid and how they do things. This coach is getting sacked. The other one comes in and wins the Champions League. You understand? So same applied at Ahly. It was like that. If the coach is sacked, the next coach wins the Champions League. So why is it impossible with Sundowns? Why do we want to make excuses now because of the Sundowns?
Because the of them doing that. They haven't done that before. So we can point to Real Madrid now.
It starts somewhere.
That's what I'm saying.
It starts now. Let's start now. Let's start now, OT. Because now, remember, who could be Rulani when people are saying they wanna be sympathetic. Or, hey, our homegrown young coach, what? Let's not be like that. Okay. Failure is failure. It doesn't matter where you come from. Let's not say because of his South African, now we must be lenient on him. Mentality we must be strict. Failure is failure. It doesn't matter where you come from.
Okay. Okay, Debs, I'm gonna come back to Junior. Junior, welcome to the show. How are you? Manimnandi. Junior, tell me, Lokocho Zayo, what should Sundowns be looking for in a coach? What type of control will the coach have? And our expectations, what should they be?
I think for the new coach coming in, you have to think about it that he's a new coach. He's not used to the players because the players have been used to Rulani for about 7 years now. So it takes time. Now, the problem with Sundowns fans is that they don't have patience. They expect a league, they expect a Nedbank Cup, they expect a CAF Champions League. Pella. Like, that's the one thing they expect. So now you get a coach who's trying to integrate a new system. And now, because of that, players are not going to get used to it. And then they're not going to win the league, they're not going to compete. And Sundowns fans are going to be calling for him to be fired. So for me, it takes time. So Sundowns fans need to accept whoever the new coach is. They need to accept him and let him build a new system. Because a lot of these guys are used to the way Rulani was.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Sundowns. I've never been a fan of Sundowns. I'm a huge Pirates fan. But I'm a fan of the football they play. I'm a huge fan. Even when they play in CAF Champions League, I will watch them because I know that they will compete. So now it's going to be like I'm watching a new team. So for me, the new coach, the fans just need to take time with him and let him build a team.
Okay. I'm gonna come back to you. Let me bring in Malume Kuto. Malume Kuto, welcome. How are you doing, my brother?
Yeah. Mr. Oti.
I'm Nandi. Naindaba, Malume Kuto. I know you're a Pirates fan, but when you look at Mamelodi Sundowns and you look at it objectively from outside, coach, what thing? Are they gonna find a new coach? Who must the coach be? Will they have control? Should they have control? Is it going to be challenging this year? Not challenging? What do you think about the coaching part of where Mamelodi Sundowns goes from here?
Let me tell you something. People do not understand the situation that Mamelodi Sundowns find itself in. If they could, they would fire their 57 supporters as well. Because they don't get a big picture. That they are no longer a local team. They are a team that has 1 billion to spend. And the coach that was at the helm admitted unprovoked that he can't win it in 1 year.
Yeah.
He can only win it in 4 years. The team wants it now. So it's clear which Abakon. The Abakon same footing. Now there are coaches out there who think they can do it in 1 year. Looking at the resources, looking at the squad. Now, if you have 1 billion, can you think beyond Kosi Lodge? How far is your network? Can you picture how big is it? Are you bold enough to say, I want a Ronaldinho if one existed? Yeah, because you actually have 1 billion in your pocket. Can you actually sign a Mexican that is good enough? You understand, Mr. Oti? And can you actually command a respect? And another thing that people are forgetting, the Sundowns has to preserve their identity. They are going to a club World Cup. They are going to play against our Chelsea, Mr. Oti. You don't want to be overawed. You don't want to be overrun. Bakshanga was 7 and train for the wrong reasons. You want to at least preserve the dignity of the club. You understand, Mr. Oti? And people are fighting Sundowns for letting go for Rulani. No. You must thank Sundowns for actually being bold enough to give such a young man such a big brain in the first place. You understand, Mr. Oti? People are saying it will be difficult for someone to take over from where Rulani left it. and I say this with the utmost respect, he left it nowhere compared to where he found it. When he came in, they were winning trebles. People must understand that. And he's winning one cup. And sometimes you must be honest with yourself and say, from the previous season, are we closer to winning the Champions League, or have we gone further? We see the brand of football that Mamelodi Sundowns is playing currently, Mr. Oti. It's not the one. Let's be honest. Let's not. That's why people are lying. But we're talking nostalgia. Sundowns has been playing horrible football the entire season. You understand? So right now, you need to at least move forward towards winning it, not backwards. And then you come and you justify why you're playing horrible football, Lana, why you're struggling to win games. And Mr. Uchi, there is that thing which is benefiting somehow. The owners know what benefiting, Mr. Uchi. They can see which is benefiting in this game, whether they manufacture the benefiting or not. But they know the truth. Which, as in, if we had a different coach or different players, we'd probably be moving in a different direction as keys. You screamer right now. You understand, Mr. Uchi?
Yeah.
So, to be honest and to be fair to Coach Rulani, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Because you don't want to go to the Club World Cup and be hit for 7, Mr. Uchi. Like I want to emphasize this. I want to Motaung against Real Madrid. You are playing against the cream of the crop. You understand, Mr. Oti? You must know what you're doing.
So then, Malume Kuto,
my China was Shanghai Karate. And Coach Pitso came back and said, you know what? It's a huge stage that I was at. And he developed his football, Mr. Oti. He became a different coach altogether. And today he sits with 3 bronze medals. So he has learned, he has the experience. Now the young man that Sundowns is blessed with an opportunity has come out and said, yeah, he can only do it in 4 years. Let's respect the young man and say, this is not the platform to do it in 4 years.
But then, Malume Kuto, isn't the problem that what conversation were you having with Rulani when you gave him the 4-year contract? And where was the club at last year when they gave him the thing? And now, isn't it a bit, I don't want to say too much of a change, isn't it a bit of a big ask to then ask somebody to come into a club that in itself is also in flux? Fleming is now signing players. I don't know how that works, or that team is now signing players. You have to come in. You're going to come in maybe mid-preseason, if at all. If they do, then you're also going to be asked to play all of those games and also go to the Club World Cup. Isn't it too much to ask for a coach this season to say, you have to ascend to the levels of coaches who had years to do what we are asking you to do? Because Coach Rulani wasn't 4 years starting now. He had been at Mamelodi Sundowns, so you can maybe understand the frustration. Good, Mara, my guy, but we coach manje. Udliwe kuma semi-final last year, udliwa futhi this year. I get it. Maybe it's time to move on. But with a brand new person who's stepping into a club that clearly, man, there's a lot happening. Can you make the same ask, or can you ask that person to get the same things?
Mr. Owitsi, there's not a lot happening. There's nothing out of the ordinary happening there. Kylian Mbappe has been on the radar of Real Madrid for the longest time.
Yeah.
Before Carlo came back. So he was not signed by Carlo. Signed by Real Madrid. And Carlo will use him. Coach Pitso went to Ahly and he knew the mandate. He didn't say, I usually I take 8 years to win the Champions League. Please give me 8. He understood the environment that he was in. He never said, the previous coach did not win it, but he just won it. He went in there, won it, and won it back to back, Mr. Oti.
Halfway
That's the
through,
caliber
Mara.
of coaches Sundowns is looking for right now.
I get
People
you,
who are
but
gonna come in.
no, I
hit the ground
get you.
running.
I get you, but remember, Pitso took over Ahly. I believe there were semi-finals. I don't think there was an expectation for him to go and win it then. They wanted him to finish the season, and he got his own season the following year. So if Coach Pitso was brought in pre-season go Ahly, would that not be a different situation? And maybe, I don't know, ask a different thing from him, if that makes sense. At least Coach Pitso arrived, Galama semi-final at CAF Champions League. No my chaisile. We don't know whether he did well. But then he got his own season. He got his own preseason. He got his own time with the club. He got to understand the nature of the club inside.
What did he do?
No. I'm saying the coach that's coming into Sundowns now is not going to have luxury. I wonder if the club, if they did what, remember how Rulani took over at a certain point in the season and then finished off the season and got to then start his own season, for example. That's not the luxury of what this coach is going to get. Pitso had at least, what, five months within Ahly finishing.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so, Mr. Oti. No coach should come into Sundowns and think you can win the league and people will be okay. These people tell us Zabalaza, Mr. Oti. By Funa, the Champions League. And the sad part is that if Pirates can go out up there and get it, I mean, you shift to Chais, Mr. Oti. When are you busy investing? So at some point, you have to say, guys, it's Funa land. And not in 4 years. We want it now. You understand? And it's that simple. We've signed players worth 50 million. And we want it now. It's that simple, Mr. Oti.
Okay.
And in Sundowns now, within 5 years, and Coach Rulani has been there for the longest time, respectfully, Mr. Oti.
That's what
and
I'm
you know
saying.
what? I know this is not about Coach Rulani. It's about Sundowns, but let's also look at it from Sundowns' perspective. Which at some point, Coach Rulani also had a chance to show his loyalty. But he went to Pirates.
For time. Let me jump in.
So we can't expect him. Yeah,
I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. Let me bring in Chone. Chone, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Oti. How are you?
I'm good. Chone, same questions for you. What type of coach should Mamelodi Sundowns be looking for? What type of control that coach have? What should the mandate be for that coach, owing now to the fact that it seems like they made a last-minute change? It seems like, next season is going to be a very heavy season for Mamelodi Sundowns in the history of Mamelodi Sundowns. What type of mandates should the coach have coming into the team now?
It's going to be a very difficult season for them. Looking at their workload, and the tournaments they'll be involved in. So the new coach, you can get any coach that you want as a team, right? But now you look at the transitioning of that coach, gelling with his players, building relationship with his players, and how he's able to get the best out of the players. You made a point that Rulani has been there for almost 12 years, right? The previous year was first solo season. It's as a head coach, right? And probably I don't know what were the KPIs and what they were looking at when they said you become head coach. But I'll just take it a bit back. Pep Guardiola was at Man City for about 7 years before he won his first Champions League with Man City. And I know Sundowns, that's what they want. That's their mandate. When they employ a coach, it's Champions League or nothing. Because since Pitso has won it, they've gotten a bite of it and they want more of it.
Yeah.
And you look at clubs in the north, when a coach comes in, they tell them it's Champions League or nothing. That's the highest deliverable that a coach has to deliver. Now, coming back to Sundowns, they made a decision. They were bold enough because they believe as an institution their standards are high, right? So now what they're looking at is to say, we need to profile a coach that has won it before, that has participated in this Champions League before, maybe with 1, 2, 3 teams, right? That's the type of profile you need to be looking at. But you cannot be taking a coach that's only won it once or twice with the same team, you know, because it might not take them a year to do it. So Rulani, they'd given him a 4-year contract. So I think they should have just given him another shot to say, okay, this was your first season. In the league, you did very well. You look at the gap between number 1 and number 2, it's a huge gap. They've almost done it invisible, right? So now in the Champions League, we've been knocked out in the semifinals for so long. Now that's what we need to look at and correct. Not that we're not doing well in the Champions League because we won the AFL, you know, playing against the teams that play in the Champions League. Now, how do we strengthen ourselves and improve the football that we play to make sure that we get into that final and we win that final? You know, that's what's important to me. And I think Sano should have looked at the holistic performance of the team to say, okay, all these other trophies, they really don't matter. You know, we've won it so many times, you know, the 8, the Nedbank Cup, you know, but we won the big fish. The big fish is the Champions League. If they had put it out there and made it clear to say it's Champions League or nothing, then it's fine. I would take it to say, okay, they gave him an opportunity, he didn't do it, and he signed up for it, so he must bear the consequences. But if that was not a durable, and they said to him, we give you 4 years to achieve this goal, then it's something else, you know. But the incoming coach, he will also need to find his starting 11. I think Rulani had his starting 11. He knew how he wants to play, and he was very brave, you know. So now this guy that's coming in will need to make sure that he sits down with Mangoba, or unless Mangoba will be the head coach, you know. So I don't know who's going to be the coach. It's either going to take Mangoba and get him an assistant, or they're going to have to go and look for someone that's won this CAF Champions League. You know, I think that's what will be important for them to progress further, because now you've let go of your head coach and his assistant is gone, and I think the video analyst is also gone. So the person that's going to come also, they will have to work with their own data and make sure that they get an improved starting 11 from Rulani and build on what Rulani has left.
Let me go to Chabu. Chabu, everybody's speaking about, you know, they were speaking about Shushan and piano, and Rulani was installing the chameleon and what. Is it the end of Lezo Zinto? Now we need a coach ozongena, plug and play. If you watch Ahly, yes, there might be some technical changes, but for the most part, coach uyafika noma udlala lelo bhola elibi or whatever, you come in, you win, you leave after 2 years. Is it the end of having coaches be in control of his style of play?
Is it the end of
coaches being in charge of style of play? Because you need to develop a style of play and install it, and hey, Lamo play and we want to do this. If it's win now, it means that we can't have coaches that are going to be taking that time. What do you think of that?
I think for the next coach, he has to understand that the Sundowns has a big season ahead, and he has to get going immediately. That is what he has to live up to. Sundowns is ready for a big tournament, and it's a global tournament. It's no longer continental or whatsoever. So Sundowns need to be ready to compete
not only for the league, not only for CAF, but for the FIFA Club World Cup.
How much
So he
pressure?
has no room to develop whatsoever.
How much pressure is Fleming and his team under to find the right coach? Do you feel that there's pressure for them as well?
My audio is doubling up, so I'm trying to understand each and every word you are saying.
Is management under pressure? So is Fleming, for example, as technical director, is he under pressure
Yes.
to find the right coach to do all of those things?
I think now from the president to the next coach, Sundowns is under pressure. The fans are not patient, and they are being watched. The Sundowns has to represent South Africa as it did the players in AFCON, in continental competition, but now they have to live up to the world. So the pressure is mounting. So I think from the president to the upcoming coach, they are under pressure.
Okay. Debza, I'm going to ask you the same question. Coach, if well and truly they want to move to that style of, you come in and you go win, you're going to have to go find Ancelotti that are flexible. You're going to have to go find things like that. Do coaches now not have control over the style of play? Are we going to be expecting scintillating football from Mamelodi Sundowns that comes from a different coach? Is Sundowns ready for that type of change, especially the fans? If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think the sporting director has a clear idea on what he wants to do. Let him do his job as well. Same as they've let Rulani do his job. Let's be honest, they've let him do his job. So let's let the sporting director do his job. So maybe he has a clear idea of what he wants to do with Sundowns and how he wants them to play.
Okay.
Whether the Masandawana Nation are going to be happy about the style of play, we will have to wait and see. You understand? Maybe what Allah but then, or maybe Banale, maybe the sporting director has identified a coach that will play a similar type of football that Sundowns is playing now, but then with more experience of winning trophies. Possible. You understand? So let's give him a chance. Let's see who understand? So I hear people saying Sundowns fans are impatient. They're going to maybe put pressure on the coach. Why didn't they put pressure on Mokwena to win CAF? You see the double standard. If there's double standard, they should have put pressure on Rulani 4 years to win CAF. No. But now they want to do that on the oncoming coach.
I like what you're saying, Debza, because if you remember on the show, did we not ask these questions? That, guys, is CAF a must right now? The way they understand it. And the people mid-season told me that CAF is not a must. So now I'm shocked at the end of the season. Now I'm shocked at the end of the season that it was a must, because throughout the season we never got that idea. At least Tauliko Ahly, we know from the get-go that this is your mandate.
These people, but they contradict that on OT because they be telling us how they are now dominating Africa. They are playing for Africa, and they are now powerhouses. Their players are now the bafana and all that. If that's the case, it means Sundowns must be winning the Champions League consistently. If they lose it this year, they win it next year. You understand? So that's how it should be. So now they must choose what is what, because Ogra Nori, Rilwela no, the men say we kept the one then they should have kept Rulani then if that's the case. You understand? So they should maybe you should ask the Masanda Wana Benzore, guys, do you see yourself as a team that wins have every season or every after one season? Then we should know. They must just let us know. Harshly. Maybe they just like us. You understand? So now decision with the sporting direct. I think they wanna go to another level, to the Al Ahly level. They want that. They see even the Sundowns fans. They said that they are no longer our rivals. Their rivals is Al Ahly. They said that. So now why do they want to keep Rulani, who's not even getting into the finals? No, never mind winning it. He's not getting into the finals. OT.
Okay.
They must just be honest. Opale to Rulani.
I think what's interesting is that I remember the comments I got for the one video I did where I asked before I move on to Junior, I had asked the question, Uti, what is the mandate? Is CAF Champions League really the mandate? And are you holding him to that and all of that? And I was told it's not the mandate. So I think that's a very interesting part of this conversation. Guti, when did it become CAF Champions League or bust? When did it become those type of things?
One last thing, man.
Very quickly.
Look at the quality of Sundowns players. Yeah? You cannot say you don't want CAF, you are okay with winning domestic trophies only. To buy all the stars in the PSL just to win domestic trophies doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Okay. You can always win trophies without buying all the players that they were buying. It's a lie. They are buying those players because they want to compete. Okay. They say that whenever they buy many players, they say, hey, remember, Chiefs are competing for CAF. So why wasn't Rulani using all the players, telling us that the players are tired, but he keeps playing the same lineup? But what like a bench there? Yeah.
Okay. Times are for time. Let me go to Junior. Junior, is Sundowns ready for the type of thing that they want with going for the CAF Champions League every year? When you look at Africa and the teams that win it every year, they don't play the best football. The coaches aren't asked to install new styles of play and Abo Chameleon, Abo Shushan and Piano. They're asked to just go win. Is Sundowns ready for, and maybe just the fans, is fans ready? Are the fans ready for that?
I first want to answer your question. If Sundowns fans are ready for that stage, I don't think they are. Because if you look back, prior to them, I think Rulani coaching, CAF was always a standard for them. It was, even though Sundowns fans would admit it. Like the CAF for me, I think was the standard for them because Pirates even said that we will have to win the CAF Champions League. It's a must. Right before the league, before the Nedbank Cup, before the Calling Black Label Cup, it's number one. So now you're asking Sundowns fans to now be patient, even though there was pressure for Rulani to win it because of the football that he plays. Because we have to be honest with ourselves. Sundowns for 7 years have dominated South African football. We can't dispute that. They've dominated South African football for the longest of time now. They've won 7 league titles in a row. Even before Rulani took over, they were dominating. So we need to think about if the new coach comes in, is he gonna be with the Sundowns fans to say that, listen, I need time. So the CAF, I feel for me, is not gonna a priority. For me, the priority is going to establish a style of play, because Sundowns fans will want a style of play. If a new coach comes in and then just says, guys, we're playing Route 1, it's not gonna be nice, but we'll win. We'll win trophies. I don't think Sundowns fans will like that. Because if you remember, towards the end of last season, Sundowns fans were complaining about the style of play that Rulani was playing. Even though they were dominating games, possession-wise, statistically-wise, shots converted-wise, goal XG-wise. So now you're asking the Sundowns fans to get used to a man who's going to basically play Route 1 football. And tell the Sundowns fans, this is our style of play. We're going to win trophies. For me, I don't think they're going to win the CAF Champions League. And I don't think it's going to be a priority anymore.
Okay. But then that's why I'm asking that. You know, it's fine. Let me go to Malume Kuz. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna see if I can't wear it and come back, Junior.
Wait. Before
yes.
I just wanna address some issues, because I feel like there's a huge dominator or huge denominator in terms of why Rulani got sacked. One of them is Thembeko Silonge. If you think about it, he had problems already at Sundowns.
Okay.
No, sorry, at
Pirates.
So now, because if you watch the documentary, he had a problem with Dion Hoto. He had a problem with Saleng. He had a problem with the coach, not playing him. So now it's like you're taking a problem and then bring it to the team. Of course, it's going to create a lot of chaos. It's going to create a lot of, competition, because he's one of the best players in South Africa. So I think Rulani wanted him. It wasn't the chairman. Rulani wanted him. So now, because of obviously what happened, with his Instagram live and what happened, I don't want to go into details. But because of that, and I think there was a meeting afterwards where he basically said, no, I don't want to punish him. He'll play. I think the chairman was also taking it back, but no, man. We have standards here. So if those standards are low, unfortunately, we have to compromise. We can't compromise our standards that we set. Every player in the team knows the standards, knows the rules and regulations. You break those standards, unfortunately, you get shipped in the door.
Okay. I think. Okay, no. Let me do this for time's sake. Malume Kutsu, I'm gonna bring you in. Is Mamelodi Sundowns ready for what they're asking for? And when we speak about Ahly and we speak about those guys, it's either the coach is a highly flexible coach, let's say like a Carlo Ancelotti, who can come in, no fuss, doesn't need signings, looks at the players, plays them, you move. Or it's going to be, Ahly, where thing is not this, expensive, what. The coaches are there for 2 years. There's no developing of styles of play and things like that. Are fans ready for what they're asking for? And is the club ready for that shift?
Fans half and half. We have some fans who understand it. And there are some fans who are very emotional right now, but they'll be fine. I've been there before. I know how it feels. So. The guy can make you grow fond of him, but you'll be fine. You'll snap out of it sooner than later, and you will ask yourself, Mr. Uti, if you look at Sundowns, the way that they are moving, you can tell, if you take a microscope, you can tell which it's two teams, two visions and two directions. You have someone who's signing Abu Allende. You have someone who's signing Abu Escobar. Even going further and signing Abu Chashrik Matthews. Guys, Chashrik Matthews is a huge signing. A huge signing. I don't think people understand the quality that Matthews comes in. And when you look at his age, he's 23. When you look at Allende's age, he's 25. When you look at Escobar, Costa, they are 25. These are players who can give you mileage. And these are players who can sell for a huge amount as well. You understand? Now, on the other side, you have someone who's signing Abu Lodge, who is signing Abu Mjela. And you can tell the difference. With lady player like Aban, lady player like Aban. However, law, we sign a player with 2 years, which is 4 years. It doesn't make sense. Now, if you want it right now, you sign players like Abu Allende, who can hit the ground running. Abu Costa, who not only can, but have hit the ground running. You understand, Mr. Oti? So, the Sundowns as a team, Irvin. Now, I want to bring in a certain individual. And please hear me. It's going to be so easy to miss this point. Sundowns versus Pirates in the final. Pirates score their penalty against the mighty Sundowns. Some players of the Pirates want to run and celebrate. Utito goes into the net and picks up the ball and runs to a center. Mr. Oti, I'm telling you, I wonder they were running to the corner if you watch that video. But when they saw the body language, a leader, saying we can do better, they immediately changed. They ran back, Mr. Oti, and they won the game. So when your leader is showing or what's it in here, he's not sure. Even the team themselves. But it's in here. Now, when you get in a coach who's going to lead the players and say, we're winning it right now, we're capable of winning it right now. We see it with Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti. Mr. Otimina gets Coach Carlo Ancelotti 3-1. 83rd minute. The Real Madrid players know what's up. They are 3-1 down, but it's 83rd minute. But they're playing like they can win the game. And guess what? They will win the game 4-3. Because the leader is in tune. Now, if the leader is asking for press conference, or can I please have 4 years? Clearly, that leader is not real. Not that he's bad. He's just not real. You know what I mean, Mr. Wood? So now you need a coach who will say, it's 1-0, we lost away. They are coming to the slaughterhouse in Loftus. No one gets out for Loftus. Whether someone gets out or not, but you just tell them that no one gets out from Loftus. And you tell Esperance that get ready for Elon. Get ready for the game of your lives. You better come and be prepared to sweat blood. That way, you are telling your players, I trust you so much that you can actually come back from a 1 deficit against Esperance and dominate. And trust me, if you go to that Pitso penalty, you will understand that just a little gesture, Mr. Oti, can get the team going.
Marie wrote a note.
You understand? It's easy to go trap a little.
Then I want to ask you 2 questions. Do you not then look at the club and again I want to question what the mandate was, because Ancelotti is an experienced coach. Even at Real Madrid, even got sacked there. So when he came back, he understood, he's got the experience, he's won everywhere where he's gone, right? Is it not unfair to put that on Rulani, who then is the first time he's been a head coach on his own? I know he was co-coach and assistant coach and all of that stuff, but it's very different when you're alone there. So in my head, I'm thinking that when the club gave him that contract, part of the expectation was, you know what, guys, but year 2 of the contract is where we'll say, yeah, you haven't learned whatever. That's the first part. But then the second part is, let me first answer that question. I'll come back.
You know what you can do? You can be so fair to him and say, the expectations that we have on you are unfair. Let's rather have these expectations on someone else. And let
but I want the club to take responsibility, because for me, you can't say, Mara Malume Kutso, you should have won the Champions League, or we expected you to win the Champions League. When I guess even when he was on Robert's show, when they asked him about that thing, he was like, hey, Mina, I don't know. Maybe it was there. I don't know the mandate. But anyway, if I can't now, so I knew you were a development case, but now at the end of the season, no, you should have gone and won the Champions League. That was one of your mandates. I think that's a little bit unfair for the club to expect that from him. And I think part of why he got a 4-year contract instead of a 2, you know, Ahly, you get a 2-year contract, for example. And we know why. We understand exactly why. You know, when you go to Real Madrid, you're not signing a 5-year contract or a 4-year contract. You've got 2 years, sometimes in some cases a year, right? So,
I'm still with you. You know what other 37-year-olds are doing? They are coaching DDC. They are coaching there at Engine Cup. They are coaching there at Belgium. If you're gonna want the big bucks, you better deliver.
But there was Malume Kutso, when I signed for Ahly, it's an unsaid rule. It's said even. Let me not even say that. It's said. What I'm saying here is that I don't think that the mandate was Champions League, not from a first-time coach, or else the club should have taken somebody who could have done that and not given this boy a chance or, hey, we'll give you a shot. That's what I like. The conversation I'm having here is that.
No. Oh, we have to be firm here. Coach Rulani is not a first-time coach.
No, but
not
being a coach
in charge of, no.
Being a coach by yourself at that level.
Oh, yeah, not only has he been in charge of Orlando Pirates, one of the biggest teams in South Africa, if not the biggest. He's been in charge on his own. And he will say, when they're sitting at the round table, that I've learned XYZ from my stint.
But it's not Champions League.
Orlando Pirates.
It's not Champions League.
And I
unfortunately.
refuse to, Mr. Oti, if we cannot say Sundowns were not expecting the Champions League. We remember Patrice Motsepe taking over Sundowns and saying, I want to dominate Africa.
Yeah.
That is the image of Sundowns. That is
then
the image of the current owner. Anyone who says they were not aware.
How many coaches have they? Okay, but
anyone who says they were not aware.
How many coaches has he had since he said that? 2004. And then from Pitso, how many coaches has he had that he held accountable like that?
How many has he fired?
Not get it from Pitso. Because we're acting as though Sundowns has won it every year. So, since Pitso won it, how many coaches has he had?
We must. Here's what I get, Mr. Vinci. Yabona umntwana. When a baby crawls, they take longer to get from point A to point B. Might take them 8 minutes. But when they start walking, it might take them 2 minutes. You can't then come and say, yo, it took me 8 minutes last time when I was crawling. I want to walk for 8 minutes. It's a different environment altogether now. Now you're able to run. We expect you to do it in 5 seconds.
But you've never
Sundowns
done
has
it.
gone from winning MTN 8, King Super 8 30 penalty, to winning leagues back to back, to winning trebles. Now, and then winning ICAF. Now it's time to dominate ICAF, not the tail. And if you can't, move away.
But they hired him knowing that he
We'll
can't.
give you a goal.
So if you've only ran
No,
3
he
times,
said he could.
if you've only ran
He said he
3,
could.
but the team has to assess. Ahly would never hire a coach that's not ready, just because they said
Now
he can.
I'm saying to you,
you understand what I'm saying? So what responsibility does the club take?
Nyala.
What responsibilities does the club take? If you hired me to cheat today,
I want to answer
I could
that.
say I want to go win the league.
Ngiphi chance? Nyala. Coach Rulani cannot be seen only as a 37-year-old. He has to be seen in the light of Pep Guardiola. He has to be seen in the light of Xavi Hernandez. He has to be seen in the light of Frank Lampard. People who have come through the system. He is not a newbie at Sundowns. He has been there for the longest time. Jangabo Tito Villanova, Jangabo Pep Guardiola. So about Pep Guardiola, when they took over at Barcelona, about Zidane, when they took over at Real Madrid,
they
were just normal children.
Don't do that.
They were children.
They were head coaches.
In the system.
Pep Guardiola was a head coach of the second team. Zidane was the head coach in the second league for the team as the head coach himself before stepping into anywhere. This guy has not been a head coach. You hired him knowing that he was co-head coach with Mangoba. He was under Pitso. You understand that there's a learning curve that you're putting him into. Yes, I mean...
Firstly, Coach Rulani was head coach of what is akin to Castilla,
but it's not Champions League.
Under 19. No, Marawa chance. He was head coach of Sundowns under 19. That's preparation. He was co-coach, a coach with a safety net of the main team. So he had a proper feel. Zidane came in and also became assistant coach and had a proper feel. Mr. Oti Ningabalek, the guy.
Do you know what my problem is, man? My problem is that you're still bypassing the point that I'm making, that at the end of the day, whether anything, this is the first time they played this many games, it's the first time they had an AFL in it, it's the first time that he has to play Champions League by himself like that outside of the semi-final last year. It's the first time. Arteta took 3 years to get right at Arsenal because it's his first time as a head coach. It's not because he didn't have the stuff before. So I'm not saying that Rulani should have done these things or should be given time. I'm looking at the club and saying, my guys, surely you had to sit down around the table and say, this is the first time this man is going to be doing this by himself. You allowed him to change coaches. You allowed him, Steve Bahambile. You allowed him to sign his players. You allowed him to do all of those things, knowing what is the first time he's doing it. Man, at the end of the season, because if he had won the final, let's say he won Nedbank, let's say he won MTN 8, he was in the final, 1 kick away. Umfukeng took him out last minute. Let's say he won the semi-final versus ES Tunis. We're speaking a whole different issue as if, but you get what I'm saying? As if he wasn't there. Now I understand if he failed, like if it was like, my guy, bonge collab. Yeah? What do you mean? In what sense?
Yeah. To go and score that winner.
I don't know. By saying Uzungu.
Wow, center back.
You're gonna say that guy.
It's the coach's decision, and therefore.
Okay. No, it's fine. Carry on.
The coach must account. And Mr. Oti, we cannot bring Arsenal into this. Arsenal has not had a taste. And by the way, Arteta is doing way better than what Arsenal was doing. He has improved Arsenal. He has taken Arsenal to a proper contender.
In 7
from
years.
Nowhere near the Champions League.
In six years.
And the next coach who's going to come after Arteta will have to do it immediately. Just like Pitso took Sundowns from nowhere.
Okay.
Mara, yazi Mr. Uthi ngathi ungafaka lengwenya le bathu bani. Kona lengwenya le ubani Lawrence Mthombeni.
Yeah.
Ihlakaniphile le out. Ngathi ungayifaka izosibhesa ngokuhlakanipha kwayo la.
Let me just see. I think I just went over there a little bit. Trene, when we're speaking about this, are Sundowns players, are Sundowns fans and the team ready to have coaches that are mercenaries? They come in, they win, they leave. There's no time to build a style of play. There's no time to be implementing your things. You are there to do a job and go. Are they ready for that as a club and as a fan base?
I'm not certain. I'm not sure if they're ready for it. In terms of the squad that they have, the squad is ready for that. But it's unfortunate because we've seen it happen before, where coaches come in for 2 years, you don't give the coach enough time to win what he needs to win and what the team needs to win. Because when you want to win, like the Champions League, for instance, you don't need to be playing enterprising football. Kevin Hunt got there with the football that he was playing, with the football that he's playing. He made it into the final with a very average squad called Chiefs, right? So my issue here is that Rulani has been on that bench for a while. He understands what it takes to play in the Champions League because they're playing it season in, season out, right? For the past about 7 years, let me put it like that. Because every time you win the league, you play the Champions League. In the time where he sat on the bench, looking at those games that they lost and the way that they lost them, when they gave him a chance, I thought he would have a solution. Because he sat on that bench. He knows what it takes to win those games. I think maybe that's the one thing that I would say for me, he failed me a bit. Maybe some of the fans or the team thought that giving him a chance, he would win it, this season because he's been on that bench. Unfortunately, it did not happen. Now you want to bring in a coach that's going to win you that, but you're already playing very enterprising good football that the country's loving. There are people that don't support Sundowns, but they watch Sundowns, they follow Sundowns because of the type of football they play. Now, when you come in with that coach that you're going to give 2 years, he hits the ground running, he needs to win that tournament, and he doesn't have to play Shushan and piano. So the identity of the team is quite at risk now if that's what you want to do. You need to be profiling the correct coaches and not just anyone to come and play and take over. We saw the same happen at Chiefs. They started recycling coaches because of the pressure of wanting to win a certain trophy. At the end of it all, it just fell apart. So Sundowns must be wary of making decisions based on wanting to win the Champions League so bad. So if they're ready for that, if that's the ultimate goal for the team and the brand, right? So they must be willing to lose a part of their identity. Because in those games, you need to go and grind for results. It's not a tournament where you go and showcase the type of football that you play. Yes, you might play your natural game, enjoy it, but you're not there to enjoy it. You need to get in there, be a soldier, win that game, make sure you're in the final. If you look at how they lost against Esperanza, they've been losing against your Al-Ahlis, your Wydad, the guys were not hungry enough to say we're going to give our all, especially when you play your home games. No one has to get out of there alive. You know, you might go away, get a draw, make sure maybe the most that you concede is 1 goal, you know, if you're unable to win the game. But when it comes to the slaughterhouse, you make sure you bring in 2-3 goals, you keep a clean sheet, you know, and that doesn't take enterprise in football. You don't have time to experiment. You know, sometimes you don't have even enough time to have a good builder play, you know. You start now playing long balls and all of that. You want to catch the opponent. So it's going to mess up the identity a bit. But if that's what they want, then they must go for it. But they must know that coaches are going to be given 2 years. In 2 years' time, if you don't achieve it, you're out.
Yeah.
But no, let me just throw a spanner in the works. Kaizer Chiefs is looking for a coach. There are a lot of teams that are looking for coaches globally. Pitso is sitting around, is unemployed. He's been going to Naturena, but nothing is happening there. Right? We're not seeing any progress. A lot of their supporters wanted him, you know, but Chiefs are not even entertaining Pitso. What did Pitso say to Bobby? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Trent. Okay, let me do this. Since we're in the last minute, I'll see if Trent can come back. Probably a phone call or something. I think, guys, for me, and I'm going to let everybody speak. For me, I think my issue with the situation is that when you look at the moves of a club and you compare it to somebody else, you can see the intentions of a club. So when you look at Ahly say that we want the Champions League every year, you see it in the contracts. You see it in what they expect from the coaches, how they make the coaches play, whatever, right? I still don't believe that the Champions League is a hard line for Sundowns. I don't believe that Rulani was let go because of results. Because even in those moments, if they had a hard line of a mandate, it wouldn't come up to preseason that a coach gets moved. I think the other part of this conversation is that when we've had conversations about Coach Rulani, at least here for me, I've said before that, guys, this man is new. There's going to come a time when he's going to be facing pressure by himself and he's alienated Abo Prastel, Abo Coach Steve, and I don't know what his relationship with Mangoba is, and the management, I don't know. But there's going to come a time where his youth in being a sole head coach is going to catch up to him. Sitting on the bench is great, but when it's hot and you're the one who has to make those decisions, it's very different to being a co-head coach when Mangoba was catching all of the flack. When Mangoba was the one who had to go to press conferences and do the Mangoba thing and catch everything. And allow even Rulani to go and speak and whatever, because he would then be controlling the other situation. Now he was in there by himself. And unfortunately for him, he's in there by himself, knowing that you have to go play Champions Leagues, knowing that you have to play the most games that I think Sundowns has played in a calendar year, knowing all those things. You can't learn that. It's great that you go Pirates. We saw what happened to him, go Pirates. We saw him go cheaper. He came back to Sundowns and he took a supporting role. Now he's coming up to a level that Pirates was not playing at or Cheap was playing at. There's going to be mistakes that happen. And I am sure that when the club was looking at it, when they demoted Mangoba, we even had a conversation about that. When I came out and I said, it doesn't make sense that you demote the one, but then this one. Kuti, is this the one who was making decisions the whole time and this one was just sitting behind him, sitting on cooler boxes, speaking to the subs? So I think when they said it's a 4-year contract, Ahly will never give you a 4-year contract. Madrid will never give you a 4-year contract because they know exactly what they're doing here. You have to earn it. So maybe it's coming that I don't believe that is the mandate. And I've asked this question and we've had discussions about it in the season. And it even came to a head where I did a video and I spoke here about Sundowns will have to come to a point where they make a decision. And it's fine that they made the decision now, but you can't say that he didn't win this thing, therefore he's fired, when the mandate was not for you to win that thing. when you have not demanded it. Now they're demanding it. Now there's a statement that says there was this and this. And again, I don't know, maybe his mandate was that in the back. So it's weird for me. But Tebza, I'm going to let you guys all have a closing statement. Malume Kutz, I'm going to give you time. Apologies for jumping in there. Tebza?
Yeah, OT. Let's just say coaches must just accept they have a pause. You understand? So whenever Sundowns took a decision, whether or not it was in the mandate or not, they made a decision. Maybe they saw Hore, he cannot. They saw it now. You understand? They gave him a chance. They see Hore. Maybe level high standing. He cannot up his level. So they just took a decision. Maybe come it was wrong. Maybe it's come and then a khoza clash or what. But then at the end of the day, come they took a decision or no. We don't see you achieving more than what you have already achieved.
Yeah.
So we want to go to another level.
Yeah.
It might be like that. As I was listening here to you and others, in case you know what? Maybe they just saw it now. Are we really going to go to another level with Rulani? Then the answer was no. Then maybe when they broke this to him, and then however they communicated, then Ayatwa Pila, they fought, and then everything just went the way it went. So for Sundowns, and I think it's a good decision. Then now I agree with it. I don't think he was going to take them to another level. Maybe afterwards, if he went to another club and then gained more experience, maybe I don't know how. But then for now he cannot. I'm not disregarding his capabilities. He's a great coach, guys. He is a great coach. He will improve. Just like Pitso, when he was at Supersport, he was not winning, guys. When he left, Gavin came and won many trophies. Then when Pitso came back after acquiring experience from the national team and all that, he came to Sundowns and did wonders. It can happen even to Rulani. We can wake up tomorrow and find him as a national team assistant coach. It can happen. And acquire more experience and come back again and do wonders. So for now, I agree with Sundowns. For now, I agree with Sundowns. He cannot do it. And that doesn't mean he's a bad coach. He's not a bad coach. He's a great coach. Thank you.
No, thank you, Tebza. Junior, I'm giving you guys your closing statements.
Yeah, Puti. Puti, I just want to get back to Moko's statement that it was the right decision that Rulani must be fired. I personally don't think so.
Okay.
There's many reasons why. Number one, he's an established football coach. He's won titles. He's won leagues. He's established a way of playing. Maybe some of the fans like it. Maybe some of the fans don't like it. But if you look at it, Sundowns fans love him. For example, if you remember when the game they won the league against Chiefs, when they beat them, I think 5-1 or 6-1, I don't remember. He immediately went to the fans and said thank you to all of them. Everyone was literally chanting his name and saying, please stay. Everyone was saying, please stay, we love you. Forget the setbacks, we love you. So now you have a situation where let's not, forget the mandate. The mandate is the dstv premiership. The mandate is a dstv premiership. That is the bare minimum. I'll make a prime example of Bayern Munich. You look at how many coaches they have been there. they've won the German league. They've won the German Cup. So now, when you don't win the Champions League, you are on a microscope immediately. That, listen, okay, you won these things, fine. But next season, we want the Champions League. So when you don't win the Champions League, the following season, you're fired. They will fire you. They won't even and people will ask why. He's a good coach, he gave them to a league title, what. No, the standards have been set. And unfortunately, that is what Rulani was given. So when he was given the 4-year contract, I'm not gonna lie, I was very shocked. Because Sundowns is not really a team that gives out long-term contracts. They want success now. So CAF was a big mandate. It was. So losing the Nedbank Cup final, losing to Pirates in the MTN 8, I think it did sting a bit for the fans, but CAF for me would have, healed all wounds. So when you don't have CAF, then it's a problem. So I think it was unfair that he got sacrificed. I think it's very unfair on him because he needs to, he was the coach that, wanted the best for his players. And now the players that he loves basically are shocked that he's gone. Roman Williams, when he negotiated his contract, said that he wanted a guarantee that he's going to be the coach next season before he signed his 4-year contract extension. Roman Williams, the best goalkeeper in South Africa, wanted assurance from Rulani saying that I will not sign this contract unless you tell me that you are my coach next season. So now he's gone. What's going to happen to Roman Williams? What's going to happen to Mshishi? What's going to happen to Motaung? What's going to happen to I'm forgetting Kekan?
Mokwena is
These
also
guys
in contract
love
talks.
Rulani. And literally they are the players that Rulani bought. He wanted them. Also, Temikosi launch. What's going to happen to him? Are we really going to lose one of the biggest talents in South Africa? We're literally about to lose the biggest talents in South Africa. So, put it to summarize my point here, because I don't want to delay much time.
Yes.
I think the new coach coming in needs time, but I don't know if Sundowns are going to give him time. So if it's going to be Pitso, everyone knows he's going to come, win trophies, and leave. If it's a new coach, a young coach, he needs to establish a style of play and say that he's going to win the league and all these trophies in his first season. If he doesn't win the trophy in the first season, it's not just the fans that he needs to be worried about. It's the hierarchy. It's the chairman. It's everyone in the top position of Sundowns that say that we have standards. If you don't meet those standards, you are gone.
For time's sake, I'm gonna have to just jump in there, Junior. For time's sake,
all right, thank you.
Let me let in Malume Kutso. Malume Kutso, closing statements. How? Malume Kutso. Guys, am I still fine?
Yeah, we can hear you, Uti.
Okay, I think he's on a call or something. Okay, I'll speak, and then Malume Kutso, if you're still on when I'm done, I'll let you go in. I think for me, guys, there's a couple of conversation that is very interesting. Oh, are you back, Malume Kutso? Okay, go ahead. Closing statements. Heban. Okay. I'll carry on. Guys, am I freezing badly now? Can you guys still hear me there in the comments? Okay, so this is what I'll say. There's a couple of moving parts in this conversation. I'll start it off with the whole Rulani and the club thing. I don't believe either of them. I don't believe that Rulani is an angel in this, and I don't believe that the club is completely is doing this out of honoring their goals. From what I've heard, there was something that happened a couple of weeks ago that prompted a lot of what is happening now, and that is different to the story that we've been told. But again, it's what I've heard. I think the club, obviously, you have to do PR and say, this is the goal that we had set for him. He didn't reach it. This is why we're getting rid of him. It's a performance-based thing. But then you can ask questions and say, Mara Club, if it's a performance-based thing, you knew on the last day that he had not reached those things. So you don't have a coach right now. So which means that all of that time from when he didn't reach those goals, nothing was prepared, right? And now we are seeing that play out. I think, of course, Rulani, I'm not trying to defend him and say that he needed to stay and needed to go. I'm just saying that we had conversations, and maybe it's a point where we've had so many conversations that we've spoken about here, where I've asked the question that, guys, is Sundowns the mandate CAF Champions League? When they're signing all these players and they're making 150 million rands worth of signings, then you turn around and you tell me that those signings maybe were not wanted by Rulani, they were brought in by Fleming and the team. Rulani brought in his own guys, and it's his prerogative to want to go play his guys on the pitch, not rotate them, not do whatever, because lababanya ang basaina, for example. Are we holding one person accountable and not speaking about the team? When you gave him the 4-year contract and he's in his first year, what was the expectation? What was the expectation of the first year? Were they vocal that this is it? What I like about Man City and all those guys is that from day one, they've been saying that, nah, fam, this is it. And they've been showing it. And yes, and Tate Motsepe went for a little bit. And then from the moment you had Pitso, it hadn't moved this way. But also, you have to give the club credit and say, okay, you guys have decided now. But don't retroactively put those things on somebody else. Say that, guys, we don't believe. There's something Malume Kutso said the other day when he was like, would you trust Rulani with R1 billion? Would you trust that he's going to go and do these things? If twice what Tatazela when he gets to the semi-finals, maybe now that this expanded World Cup is announced, and now that you're going to go play with these Real Madrid and everything, we find out in the middle of the season, then maybe the club sat back and said, am I freezing, guys? Maybe the club sat back and said, hey, man, we don't trust him. You know, maybe Fleming, you have to put the accelerator on what you want to do. And then we'll back you in order to go and do what we need to go and do. So I think this conversation, there's a lot of things that play into what's going on here, how we view Rulani, his attitude, his this, his that, his that. But sometimes, even if you just look at the facts of the thing, it could have been attitude that got him out, which I'm hearing was a specific situation that happened, or it could be something else. But anyway, Malume Kutso.
Mr. Uti.
I'm gonna apologies for the last round. What are your closing statements?
No. It's a talk show with this one. So we must talk. So, apologies accepted. Mr. Uti, do you feel with Lampard thought he had time at Chelsea, given his age?
I think he was overconfident in taking the role, and he learned later on that. What?
You are right. I like how you put it. He was overconfident and overambitious in thinking he could conquer the world immediately at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And Chelsea has a duty to protect its brand and dismiss him. Because
Can
they can
I?
see which Uspaga in
But
now,
can I ask?
I will cite it. You may not agree.
Oh, sorry.
You may not agree that Pep Guardiola is a model that Abo Rulani and Abo Lampard have been hired under.
Okay.
Not only Pep Guardiola, but also another Pep Guardiola-esque move was Zinedine Zidane. Outside of their playing career, these are people who were in the coaching micro-oven of their respective teams, including Stevie G. And with the failure of Lampard, Liverpool reflected on the Stevie G move, which it might not work. You understand? So the plan Yaga Rulani was that he has been there. And Coach Rulani, he himself says he has 4 league titles as head coach. Why are we saying he's in his first year? You can't have your cake and eat it. You understand that, Mr. OT? And there is no one in this country who is going to tell me that Sundowns does not want to win the Champions League. That Sundowns does not want to dominate Africa. That was declared a long time ago. Even Coach Pitso was feeling the fire by not going past. And he knew which he did about which we winning a Petro. I'm telling guys. We saw Sundowns players break down after every lose in the Champions League. After every elimination, we saw them break down.
Okay.
The culture at Sundowns is that players who don't perform are shipped out immediately. Surely we have to accept that even coaches who are not performing ought to be shipped out immediately.
Okay.
It cannot be a one-way street where coaches get all the glory and never get the brand. And again, Sundowns has never been a stable place for coaches. You must not confuse Coach Pitso's success with the stability of Sundowns. It's because Coach Pitso managed to be successful with Sundowns that we see Coach Pitso staying for so long. And then our Coach Rulani were reaping the benefit. Coach Pitso crawled so that our Coach Rulani could walk.
Yeah.
You understand, Mr. Oti? So all I'm saying, personally, is that we must accept that we all knew from the start the Sundowns Champions League. And Coach Rulani told all of us that he can't do it this year, he can't do it next season, 4 seasons.
Can I ask you something?
Sundowns to accept that.
But can I ask you something, Malamekut? Just to go back to what you had said, would you have hired Lampard?
Yeah. I'm all ears. Yeah, no. And I'm being honest with you. Off the back of Pep Guardiola, I would have.
No. But what I'm saying is that
I've advocated for the appointment of Mini McCarthy.
I guess that's where we differ, because from the moment, if you remember, we were on the show, from the moment Rulani was promoted, I came here and I said, it doesn't make sense to me. And we asked a lot of questions. From the moment Lampard was hired, I would say I would never take a guy just off of the strength of him being a former player and have him play, have him coach. The difference between Lampard and Pep Guardiola, for me personally, is that Pep Guardiola was coaching the B side of Barcelona in the league, which means that he had the advantage of, I get to figure out my philosophy, the way I want to play, the way I want to do this, away from pressure with my head coaching role. And if you remember, when he walked into the club, he was the one who said, guys, clear out all of these people. I don't want Deco, I don't want Ronaldinho, I don't want Eto. I want to take the guys that I was coaching Le and come with them here, which gave him an element of control. So if you're going to hire Rulani, for example, so you've given him the benefit of the doubt, you're hiring him. But yet, then we find out later on that most of the signings were not his. He made 3 or 4 signings. He was trying to push through. He told them that I need X, Y, and Z in order for me to be successful. And a lot of those things were turned down. Now I look at both of them and I say, Coach Rulani, you were too overconfident for this role that you had. And I said it from day one. And club, you guys who say that you want the Champions League, look at your peers. Ahly would never do that. Rulani would not have gotten a sniff of head coaching job there because they understand what their mandate is. So I'm not saying that Rulani shouldn't be fired expeditiously when he's not meeting goals. I'm looking at management and I'm saying, Maranani management, nimletele Lampard. He hadn't coached. He coached in the championship, I believe. He had coached a season or 2 in the championship. You bring him to Chelsea, that's in disarray, in a transfer ban. He did relatively well. But that's not the type of situation where you throw a coach like that. Because when it came end of that season, in a transfer ban and all of that stuff, what did Chelsea do? They fired him. And I could say that actually Lampard did very well. He deserves to get a second place. He's a second bite of the cherry next year because he had all of these things on him now. So my conversation is not that Rulani must stay. I'm not at all sticking up for Rulani. I don't even want to sound like I'm trying to stick up for Rulani. I'm looking at Sundowns and I'm saying, when you hired him and you gave him a 4-year contract and you did all of those things and you allowed him to move Abo Steve and bring in the coaches he brought in and the Black Poison players, and you allowed him to bring Abo Loch and all those guys, you can't then turn around and say, oh yeah, you know, we had nothing to do with that thing. We need to get rid of him as quickly as possible. That is part of the conversation we were having yesterday when I was like, oh, Fleming, how do you hold Fleming accountable? Because it's easy to hold Rulani accountable. It's easy to say, you didn't win this cup, you didn't do this, you didn't go there, you didn't go there. Mara, in management, what do we say? Fleming, how do we rate you? You made some choices, you signed some players, you spent the money, you promoted Rulani, you did all that stuff. How come at no point do we look at them and say, hey, Maranani ngatini flopile, whether you knew it or not? Similarly to how we say Rulani was confident, whether he knew or not that he could take the job. You get what I mean? So I need about getting rid of him. Get rid of him. But don't act like we were innocent leading up to getting rid of him. If that makes sense.
I get it. And maybe we could say they are correcting their wrongs. However, Mr. OT, side note, I think you're taking a dim view on the championship as opposed to Abo Real Madrid Castilla and Abo Barcelona. The championship is a much higher level than.
No, that's fine. That's not the okay.
Yeah, let's take it on as a side note.
Oh no! The point I was making there was that at least Pep Guardiola was in the system, so he was going to the same headquarters. He was going to the same training. He knows where the dishes are. He's got an advantage. He's got an advantage over Lampard, who, even though he was a player, now you're coming from the championship into a team that they were doing badly at the time. If that makes sense.
So I'm saying, Mr. OT, I'm saying Coach Rulani comes from the under-19 Zabo Sundowns. Similar to Pep Guardiola. And he also comes from a strength of being an assistant coach of Sundowns for a very long time. Similar to Zinedine Zidane. He sat there in the change rooms, he acclimatized, he grew bonds with players, and to a point where he even took credit for some of the work. And that's fine. So we cannot say Mr. OT, he was a real gamble. He already had 2 league titles to his name when he was given the job. And Mr. OT, last season, the coach that took over his Sundowns just after MTN 8. And the MTN 8, I think you play final before
Yeah,
the fifth game
it
of
took
the
over in
season.
October.
So this is literally his second full season, if we're being honest. So if CAF first season now you win the league, surely we can see great things coming from you.
I'll speak for me. That's why I'll speak for me. You guys were here when I was like, yeah, this is not going to work out long term, or if they want to do whatever. But that's me.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, Mr. Oti, they gave him a chance. They gave him the support. Pep Guardiola could only get rid of Abo Eto and Abo Thierry Henry after having won his first league title. That's when they gave him the king, the key of the city.
Oh no, he got rid of Ronaldinho same time. He got rid of Ronaldinho and Deco same time. He was, I don't want you guys in my team. And he really stuck around because he refused to leave.
Asafi, what I don't want you in my team. So I'm giving the chance, Mr. Oti. That's not. I want in this case, and I will close. I will close with this one. I want if my mom and then you say to someone's mother, when I'm umnyam, I will feel the pain. Flamingberg is not South African.
Yeah.
Siet Ramovic is not South African. Thank you, Mr. Oti.
Look, to close for me, all I'll say is that Ahly about the chance. I'm not saying that he deserved it or didn't deserve. I'm saying that personally for me, when I saw him, the moment again, you guys were here when I literally said, Mina, I don't understand this thing. It's probably not going to work out. He's going to need time. When it comes to he's tatazeling because there's nowhere to hide. There's no Mangoba to hide behind. There's no Prastiv to hide behind. There's no what where Mangoba's the one who speaks to the press, who gets demoted. That's my thing. So I'm not fighting that he wasn't given his chance. I'm not fighting that he should be given more. I'm saying that he was overconfident and he made his mistakes in thinking that he could do this. Management made their mistake by also listening to him and going, yeah, Mangoba, we're demoting you. We're taking this guy. We're bringing him in. There's two sets of responsibility that needs to be had here. That's what I'm saying. And it feels as though what's going on with Sundowns and Rulani in this situation is that Rulani is a generally unlikable character. So we are basing everything. What did I ask yesterday? Everybody who's siding with Fleming, what do you know of Fleming that you can say that, yeah, I'm going with him? Or are you going with him because Kamba law is ngamfuni? And it's not to say Guti law is ngamfuni angahambi, but it's to say, how are you guys going to look at that guy who's 2 years in? He's had now what three coaching changes in his time there, 3 system changes. He's now had a decline in results. They've spent more money. So at what point do you look at him as well and say, Nyambonurulanu Flopile on the field? Now we're Flopile in the back. And I feel like we're not making that change. Lampard can feel however Lampard feels about how he feels that he can take Chelsea forward. Great. And he can flop when he gets there. Great. And he can be fired. Mara, management, Yaniwa, we're in a transfer ban. We're having problems. We're changing ownership. We're doing all these different things. Why would you hire a guy with no experience? When do we hold you guys accountable? Because management turned around today and they went, oh yeah, he didn't meet the requirements. Oh, he didn't meet the requirements. So you guys knew from 2 months ago that he didn't meet the requirements. Why Ngana coach? What is the plan going to be going forward if today you're telling us about that he's leaving and you're telling us that Mangoba's taking over and you're going to be going to look for coaches and do all those things now? Can we not then look at management and say, I Maranani Konok Shamanzila because he was out back then. There should have been an exit interview. But anyway, guys, That's all I was saying. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. The show Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. I will have the Pirates chat. Tomorrow we're gonna have the Pirates chat about the documentary and the fallout from the documentary. Is it a good thing to have? Is it a good thing to do? All of that stuff, we're gonna speak about it. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to those that gave gifts. MK, Frankie, hey, I'm seeing King. Yeah, that user. Thank you to those that joined on YouTube and also commented. Guys, I drop content almost every day, so please, please, please go out and support us content creators. There isn't a show like this elsewhere. And if you want to join the WhatsApp group, go to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join. In the members area, there's a link that will take you to the WhatsApp group. And that's where, if you think myself and Malume Kutso and myself and other people are having, you should see us in the group with voice notes and pictures and all of that stuff. It's an incredible place to have conversations about football. Guys, I'll see you guys then tomorrow at 7 p.m. Bye, everyone.